So for our drawing lesson, we're just going to use a pencil. I have a kneaded eraser, piece of tracing paper, and our finished piece that we're actually going to paint on is a postcard size of watercolor paper, some cold pressed paper, and I'm going to need that to know what size. So I'll trace this out just on a piece of scrap paper here, and now I have an idea. I know exactly what size I need to make this. So of course ice cream cones are really just a sphere with a triangle shape, and we'll just start by getting a general size that we want here, just a little freehand circle, and then draw a line right straight down the center of that for as long as we want the cone to be. So I'll stop the cone about there, and so now I can add my cone to this triangle shape here. I'll round it off a little bit at the bottom and come in on the other side. So there's my cone shape. I just kind of sketch it in lightly like that. Maybe I'll make the top a little larger, and then I'll put a ruffle around the bottom, so there's a little half curve here. Alright, so by drawing it through like this, all the shapes and sizes and proportions look credible. So yeah, now I have it sketched out and I know it's going to fit. I'm going to tilt it a little bit, I think, when I orient it onto the paper. So now I can refine that. I can just press a little harder and sort of make a natural ice cream shape, like a scoop. Whoops, broke my lead. Make a little scoop shape coming around here, and I'll just ruffle the edge of the scoop shape and bring my cone. I'll revise that a little bit and make that a little straighter. That looks good. Okay, so the last thing we need is just the little guidelines for the waffle, and so I'll start with a couple of diagonal lines like this, and then fill them out on either side, and do the same thing on this side. I'll just start with a couple of diagonal lines at a right angle, this, and make sure you have these at least a ½ inch apart, because you don't want your triangles to be too small. It'll be difficult to paint every one of those. So there we have it. There's our ice cream cone. Let's transfer it on. I've got my piece of paper, and I know the cone's going to fit now because it fit right inside that little sketch guideline I had there. So to make this easier, all I have to do is just flip that ice cream cone over now, and the graphite's on the back side, and I can decide if I want it straight up and down or if I want to tilt it a little bit. I think I'll tilt it a little bit, and that way I can have some little drips hanging down like that, and that would be kind of fun to do afterwards, like a drippy cone. So I'll go over the lines on the back side. The neat thing about doing this way is now, once this is traced, I'll have graphite on both sides, so I'll actually have a variation. I'll have two variations. Don't have to press very hard. I'm using a soft lead pencil. It's probably just a number 2. I don't want the lines to be too dark, and a lot of that is it's just gonna come through on the other side. I'll get my guidelines on here very quickly, and I'll peek, make sure I got everything. I sure do. And there we go. So now I have This, I can use this over and over and over again, and there's graphite on both sides, so I can orient it one way or orient it the other, so that if I'm making a lot of these with different flavors and different colors, I can get a little variation in there by just following a little different line. So that's it, and we are ready to paint.